Within my first 6 months as a full-time agent, I did make over 6 figures. And then if we really want to get saucy, all those numbers over at Senior Life that you're seeing and posting, oh, we beat Lincoln, they're fake. It's not real. I'll be the first to say it. And you know what they said to me? How dare you? You're ungrateful. Ron Powell wants to fly out in his private jet. You think I care about a private jet and what he wants to do? Pay me what I'm owed.
This is Adam with Insurance Man Podcast Don't Shoot. We've got a very special guest, Lauryn Boorstein. Did I say it right again?
Yeah, that's it.
I've been following you on Facebook and stuff for quite a while. It's exciting to see other people killing it in the final expense industry. So tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background.
Okay, I never thought that I was going to be selling life insurance. I am a single mom. I had my daughter. She's about to be 5 years old. And when I say single mom, full single, don't get financial help. Right before I got into the insurance industry, I've always been a server. So I've always been a hustler, right? I've always been very independent, getting things on my own. And insurance industry fell on my lap, and it just turns out that I'm pretty good at it.
How long ago did you get into the industry?
3 years ago. So
3 years ago.
Green.
What was it that initially drew you to the industry?
So I had somebody reach out to me and they were like, hey, look, we think that you would be great at insurance. And they gave me my mentor, who is now my best friend, my soul sister, can't live without her. Shout out to Dana Berlin. Let's go. And they gave me her number and we connected, and she was a single mom, out here getting it. And she literally showed me what she was doing and what she was making. And I was like, all right, I want to get into this.
And you were in the serving industry prior?
Yep. Waitressing.
Oh, how long were you doing that?
For my whole life. So I've always been in the food and beverage industry. Always.
So definitely a little bit different pace and a little bit different in the insurance industry.
Correct. But I was working my one job right before I got into insurance. I was working from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. just hustling, waiting tables, bartending, just getting it.
So I'm sure your first 3 years in, I've been doing this for a little while, and that's usually one of the things, right? If we can find someone that'll hustle, that'll actually apply that same work ethic, they usually do excel.
Yes, correct.
So when you first started out, what were maybe some key wins and maybe things maybe early moments in your career that kind of help you decide, okay, this is what I really want to do?
Yeah. So I don't know. I did have major success. It's not like this for all agents. I came in, my mentor, extremely coachable. I was like, listen, I want to be like you guys. Tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. Right. Within my first 6 months as a full-time agent, I did make over 6 figures. And so I did that. And then once I hit that goal, I was like, all right, I'm going to take this up a notch. And that's when my mindset kind of started shifting into that entrepreneur mindset. And I was like, all right, I want to help a lot of people and I want this thing to grow,
So walk me through that for maybe someone that's looking at it. Because when you hear 6 figures in 6 months, we get people that they don't believe the true potential of this industry. And what did that look like? And how were you able to make that happen?
Basically, what it looked like was that we have a system, right? And what that system looked like was 5 presentations a day, 200 dials, get it done no matter what. And you got to remember something too. I was literally waitressing, taking my money from waitressing and flipping it back into my business with life insurance. And I'm super grateful for that. I do have a past where when I was younger, I was all over the place. And I learned about it takes money to make money. And you have to have that mindset. So I was literally taking every last dollar I had. There was times in my story, and I talk about this all the time, that I had $2,500 for rent. And I would take that $2,000, put it back in leads, and then make it that back quadruple. And I just had faith. I was like, all right. And I'm a big believer. So I was like, all right, there's a reason why this came into my life. I'm going to succeed this. I just need to hit 5 presentations a day. And then what happened is that I started becoming very good at it because now I'm getting my reps in. And everybody, this is so important to talk about. We get the most no's. We just don't stop. It doesn't matter. I was getting rejected all the time, but I was still showing up and not stopping. And that's what happened for me. I didn't even know, Adam. I did not know. I got a call from my upline and they were like, oh my God, you're crushing it. You're about to hit six figures. And I was like, what? Because I was just grinding, working. And you got to remember, single mom. So I was getting my baby in the beginning. I couldn't even afford to put her in daycare. I couldn't. So she was working alongside of me. I didn't even have a car. I was almost losing the house that I was living in. Like I was waitressing, trying to get out of this hole. If I could do it, y'all could do it.
What do you think has given you this determination? Because that's a phenomenal story to hear that. I love hearing that. What was the inspiring thing, or what helped you transition from that? You got in part-time initially, is that right?
Yeah, so I got in part-time. I committed to 3 days a week. Within those 3 days, I was pulling in full-time numbers. I remember I was like issuing 13,000 in 3 days. And then one day, and shout out David Price. He's one of my best friends, one of my mentors in this like industry. Mentor in life, does not matter where we work. My mentor in life, he's taught me everything I know. And he put me in a group chat with Dana, and he goes, "Look, I made 3,000 in one day." He's, "Lauryn, how many tables would you have to wait?" And I literally looked at the message. I was like, this is it. And I walked back. I put my 2 weeks in. I'm like, I'm going full time. And that's when the true magic happened.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
I'm getting pumped up over here. So to answer your question, like great mentorship, I didn't have anybody that believed in me. My family was like, what? You're going to full commission? But I would put my daughter down at bed at night and I would look at her. And I always knew that I was a bad kid. Most entrepreneurs are, like getting kicked out of school, not the best of kids. I just didn't like authority. And I always knew that I would be something. I just needed to find out what that was. And I remember my why is my daughter, and like putting her to bed at night and like just watching her. And I'm like, I'm going to give you the life where whatever you choose to do, and you're going to wake up and the mommy did that for you.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That's a great why. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And for someone that's wanting to make that switch, what kind of time frame did you said you made $3,000 in a day? What was the time frame? Was it weeks or months, or what was that transition like for you?
So let me tell you about the first time I got on the phones. First day. Back then we didn't have, we like had a virtual call center, but back then we didn't even have that yet. Dana, she gave me a lead. She's, "Hey, this is an old lead. Just call it. No script, nothing." I get on the phone with this client. Confidence is key. I had no idea what I was doing. And I ended up closing that client with no script, figuring it out as I went. And it was my first call out ever and my first close. So I got a taste right away. And it happened fast for me. And I like for newer agents that struggle, listen, like I know my best friends, they struggled years in the industry until they actually made it, right? But it did happen fast to me. But I will let you know that I was negative in my bank account because I just wanted to stop buying leads. Like I was hungry. I saw the vision, and like I was almost losing everything and still just invested in the business. And I just didn't stop. Like I became addicted to it.
At least for me, having those right mentors, it really is a cheat code. Having someone that's been there and done that and that's supporting you like through those ups and downs definitely makes it easy. But that's super inspiring to hear. You got your daughter by your side. I love hearing that people that usually are successful are willing to roll the dice, and willing to roll the dice on and bet on yourself is phenomenal. It's why you're doing so great, obviously. But when you got in the industry, do you want to talk about like the company you're working with, or do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. Yeah. So I was working when I first got into the industry, not knowing anything really, but super grateful. My mentors are my family today, best friends, right? I learned everything from them, but I got into at Senior Life Insurance Company.
Or how long were you with Senior Life?
I was with Senior Life up until 6 months ago.
Up until 6 months ago. What was the main reason, or was there like a turning point or something that made you decide? Because now you work as independent, correct?
Yes, correct. So yeah, there was a lot of things. Just to start off, like in the beginning, it was great, right? Like I'm doing great. We're vibing, right? But this is what it comes down to. Last year, things started changing, right? And at this point, what started changing, I'm going to talk about this. There would be mornings I would wake up with thousands of dollars of unauthorized leads in my portal.
So they're just sending you leads that you didn't request, and
going to sleep and waking up with thousands, not even paying attention, and then not getting commissions or like from my team or anything. I'm like, what's going on just in my portal? And then there was a problem with that. And then what happened is that they dropped this new plan. It was called Platinum Protection. And at this point, I'm a leader. And I take lead in from the front very like that. Like I take pride in that. Like I'm uniquely qualified to help other agents through what I've been through. I'm a single mom. I got you. You won't fail. And now like things are starting to get weird where I'm getting blamed and I have to get these leads out to people that can't even feed or anything. Like I'm taking the loss on it because I'm not doing that to my newer agents. I'm not doing it. Right. Some of these people couldn't even pay their mortgages. I'm not doing that. Like I want to lay down my head down at night with integrity of who I am. They dropped this plan. It was called Platinum Protection. And in this plan, you would write it and it was a cheaper plan. It beat everyone else's prices. However, the commission was 30% commission. But they talked about this. The renewals are going to be higher. Right? So I was literally making nothing on these policies. So income started dropping, right? So income started dropping. Now I'm getting thousands of dollars of unauthorized leads in my portals. Not just me. Most of the leaders who also are like, I'm a little pit bull. I'm not, a lot of people over there they're comfortable. They're not going to say anything. Like, no, I'm going to speak what's right. But in the beginning, I just took the L and I would just pay for them. I was like, all right, maybe this is just they need to get leads out.
That happened pretty consistently.
Yes. So it started happening consistently. Now I'm like, what's going on? Because I had a nice pay through, it didn't really matter, but I was actually paying more to just be working at Senior Life. Like the math wasn't mathing.
Yeah.
The income was dropping, but because I was getting a pay through, like I was supposed to keep my mouth shut. Right. So that started happening consistently. And then I started speaking up and I was told from Doug, and that was one of my mentors over there, that I'm lazy, that I need to do better, and all this stuff, and like literally was gaslighting me into thinking like I was doing something wrong and I was a bad leader by the way I was handling everything.
Were they just really pushing you guys to offer that based on that renewal side, or just because it was cheaper, or what was their main reasoning or their thought process, you think, behind that?
Let's think about this, right? I think that sometimes they thought that we weren't that smart, but let's think about this. You have a newer agent that's pitching on the phones. They see a plan that is extremely cheap. What are our newer agents going to write no matter what?
Yeah, the cheaper plan.
Now they're getting a commission on it for what? $100 plan. They're getting $82 of commission off that. And then what about their lead cost? Now they're behind.
Yeah. And then
what about the newer agent?
The first 6 months is definitely the hardest. You're swimming, like fighting an uphill battle on things that you shouldn't have to fight a battle on.
There's been times in my room in a fetal position praying, like just to get me by to build my business. And it worked for me. And I put that into where I was with my team.
What was your team writing?
Yeah, this is actually really good to talk about too, because since I went independent, I've been hitting major PRs. I was stuck. If you do it correctly, it should be growing, right? And I got stuck into issuing anywhere from nothing ever under 70,000, but I was always like 70 to 90,000. And that was when I was writing with my own pen, like too, helping, right? So like I couldn't get, and that was like my goal, like 6 figures, everybody writing, but I was getting stuck because it started getting harder. Because think about like newer agents waking up with unauthorized leads in their portal. Like the mindset, everything was a mess. It was like an insane. And that was another thing too. Like I would go in and look at agents that weren't writing and they had unauthorized leads in their portal.
They were sending them direct to the agents too. Some of your agents were just doing those charges.
One of my mentors at the time, he was saying that we need to help Ron Powell out. We need to help this man out. This is why we're doing this. We need to help him out. But okay, cool. He's a multimillionaire. What about the other people that we're bringing on?
Yeah.
And it was an insult to me because I was running the team, doing all this stuff, and I'm picking up leads nonstop, live transfers. I hate when agents are complaining about the leads, but I'm telling you right now, I'm a lead junkie.
Yeah.
People are dead and you're calling the lead and you're getting charged.
Yeah, that's crazy. So that went on for a while. You were writing 70 to 90,000.
Okay, so basically, like I started getting nervous again. I'm like, what's going on? I look up to you, right? I look up to all these people in the final expense industry. Like, I know I could do this. I want to build, and I want to build something great. And I want to build something that when I pass away, it gets passed down to generations. My daughter is okay. That's what I want. I started realizing that's not going to be a thing here. And I could be like most people over there and white knuckle it, but my visions and goals are so much more, right? And I will make this known. I just wanted to add more carriers because I'm a non-captive agent just to help more people so I could get ahead. Like, I'm in my 3rd year getting behind because of everything that was happening. That's crazy.
So you wanted to just add a couple additional carriers.
So I added more carriers, and I just did it. I was going to add more carriers. I have a lot of warm market. My social media does pretty well. I have so many people reaching out. So I'm like, all right, let me get into the other scene. Let me see what this is about. And it was a Friday. Pay throughs were about to come out on that Monday. And I get a phone call from Doug Blake. And he super disrespectful. And I'll admit it too. Once I feel disrespected like that, I also could have handled that situation a lot better. But it's different because he's like in charge of my money right now. They found that I was contracted with a carrier. And he said, literally verbatim, if you don't cancel that contract by the end of today, you will never get another effing dollar from Senior Life again. You have till the end of today. And then within 20 minutes, everything was shut off for me.
So they locked you out of the portal and
everything, commissions that were coming in, everything.
And again, they're a non-captive carrier though, right?
Non-captive. I didn't do anything wrong. Anything wrong. And it's crazy because I want to say this. I thought this man was my friend. I thought he believed in me. I thought he was my friend. I thought he was like, and I will say this too. I'm going to speak for other people, and it's okay that I do this. They're some of my best friends. He grew up with Dana Berlin and did the same thing to her and shut everything off. He did it to me. He's met my daughter. He's known my story. He knows what I've been through. He knows how much I was hustling in an office next to him. And he shut everything off. He did it to David Price, who literally blew it out of the water over for Senior Life. He did it to him. What makes any agent think that he's not going to do it to anybody else?
Man, and I know that you'd mentioned some different threats and things. So basically, they said if you don't cancel, you're never getting a dollar. Is there anything in your contract that says that they can do that? Like that, say they're active or?
No, the contract, we could get into this. The contract is insane, okay? And no, it does not say anything like that. I am a non-captive agent. You know what else he said to me too? He goes, yeah, but that doesn't go for our leaders. Our leaders can't be doing that. You should have known better. And let me tell you about this man. I watched him. I worked alongside of him. I watched him go up to Dana and try to divest agents all the time. And we were like, no, we're not doing that. We don't want to do that to people. And it's crazy. And shame on me. Shame on me for thinking that if I wanted to better me and my daughter's life, it wasn't going to happen to me. Because you got to remember, and whoever's watching, like, I'm starting 6 months in, I'm starting over. They took everything from me.
So none of your pay through. You were vested. You were there 3 years.
Yeah, I was making, and my pay through, and we like to talk about that, 7,000 guaranteed every month, and then of course with TNV debt and all this other crazy stuff because it's very hard to understand. But yeah, all taken away in just one day.
And this is on top of them selling you on the dream of this cheapest product, highest renewals. That's probably even after debt. I'm guessing you were still taking home at least probably $5,000 a month, right? Guaranteed.
Yeah, I was taking home more than that. Yeah, but like after all this, like I'm telling you, like I started like looking, like the math wasn't mathing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, what's going on here? That was just day one. That was Friday. So now the pay's off, whatever. I fully go independent, all this stuff. Now it's time for actually us to get paid, right? So we go through that time where they hold the money, blah, blah, blah. Me and Doug, again, screaming matches, not nice words. I get an email from good old Ron Powell. And in this email, we could read it verbatim, but in this email, it's saying, we have your money. We're going to fly out on our private jet and we want to meet you in person, but you have to come. The email doesn't say this is over a phone call with the CFO of the company, because I've been there for a while, so I know these people.
Yeah.
And he goes, but you have to come by yourself, and you can't bring anybody, and we got the check to hand you in person, but you need to come alone. With Doug Blake, Ron Powell, and the CFO, who I actually had a good relationship with until all this happened.
So they're trying to strong arm you to meet with you, basically to say to get your money, you have to come in here
alone with a paper check. And then I declined. I wrote this long email. I said, this is crazy. This is unethical. This is not right. Everybody gets paid direct deposit. Why are you doing this to me? They're like taking my money that I earned, all of it. Like, I worked and earned and bought that book of the leads and everything. They're taking my money and they're holding it in front of me, trying to get me to submit. I declined. And you know what they said to me? How dare you? You're ungrateful. Ron Powell wants to fly out in his private jet. You think I care about a private jet and what he wants to do? Pay me what I'm owed.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to talk about this. They make and I love Lincoln Heritage. Every agent that I talk to over there, they get paid, all this stuff. They want to make Lincoln Heritage seem that they're the devil. But any agent I talk from over there, they get paid.
Yeah.
And it's insane to me.
I've been here 17 years and I've only seen that I personally that I worked with maybe probably 2 agents, I think, that lost their vesting. And it was Lincoln gave them a warning and said, hey, you're violating your contract. Don't do this again. And then they either blatantly responded that they were going to continue, or there was like kind of some strange circumstances. But I've seen a lot of people that said, hey, this wasn't a good fit, or for whatever reason parted ways, and they're still getting a check. I've got one of my managers. He went to Senior Life. He worked for another manager. He was in the industry before me, and him and his manager just didn't have a good relationship. The manager let him go. So he didn't even necessarily want to leave, but he went to work for Senior for a handful of years, built an agency. I think he was writing maybe $100,000 a month or so as well. And this is probably, I don't know, 12 or 15 years ago. And he ended up coming back to Lincoln. I was able to work something out and get him to come back. He still gets $5,000 a month from his previous Lincoln Heritage pay through. And I was talking to him about this 2 weeks ago. We're in LA because he's still getting paid. And he goes, when I left Senior, I didn't get a dime. He goes, they didn't pay me anything.
It's crazy. And once I saw true colors, I'm like, all that crap that they talked and all this stuff, it's crazy. Now, I talk to a lot of insurance agents. Everyone gets what they deserve over with y'all.
Yeah.
But they're the biggest ones to talk. And then they want to go try to recruit everyone.
Just talking to a few people that have left there, is that on the reporting side, right? Like with Lincoln, I get a report every single month. I know what my leads charged in were, my leads charged out. I know what my advance debt is that's owed. Are you guys getting similar reports, or what does that look like?
Let me tell you something. I had an agent. This is a prime example. I had an agent. My pay through should be like 10,000, right? I had an agent that had debt, whatever. They took that. It was like 4,000. They took it away. I had no idea that was a thing because there's no writing of it, right? So I'm like, so then Doug is explaining it to me. And every time he would explain it to me, he would make me think like I was an idiot. So I felt bad for always asking, yo, this doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense. So one day, like I started getting my pay throughs and they were always like, now they're 6 to 7, but on my list, it says like 10,000. I'm like, didn't I already pay for that 4,000? And they're like, oh yeah, but like we keep that to the side. I said, to the side, where do you put it? And I still to this day, Adam, I wish I knew. I still to this day don't know where that money is. But obviously it doesn't matter because they have all my money.
Yeah. Wow.
Like it's insane. And then we asked for the TNV report and all that stuff and now getting the running around. And it gets worse. There's more. So after I declined the payment, the CFO promised me that, and this is where I guess really what hurt. Like that Tuesday, he promised me, like, no matter what, I was going to get paid. No matter if you meet him or not, you're going to get paid. That Monday, I get an email from Doug Blake. Prior to our reports, you are being investigated for so-and-so. And listen, all these things, right? Doesn't tell me what the things are, but I'm being investigated. So I'm like, oh, email, perfect. I'm calling him, right? So I call him up. Again, not the nicest conversation. However, this was in order for me to get paid, this is what I had to do. Let's sit down for this, guys. You can't make this up. In order for me to get paid, now I'm in investigation, but they want me to investigate myself because I needed to pack my computer up, take my computer down to Cooper City in South Florida, bring my computer down there and let them go through my back offices to let them see who's working underneath me. And if I do that, I'll get my money the next day.
So they're wanting you to show like the other carriers you're with, like if you have other agents, sub agents with those carriers.
Yep, they want to see who's working underneath me. They're so hung up on making me fail. They word for word from him and everybody else that whatever happened with them and they chose to do their own thing. They're so hung up on making us fail, whatever we chose to do, that they are literally doing anything in their power and literally telling other agents this. And these agents are coming back and saying, oh, they're just waiting for you to crawl back. They're waiting for you to crawl back so they could take you back. That verbatim what's saying. So anything right now they're doing. And let me tell you something. Keep underestimating me because I got this dog inside of me and I don't need any of Senior Life's agents. Let me tell you, I went independent 5 months ago and I'm hitting PRs left and right on my own. I don't need you. Pay me what you owe me. And I'll do it again and flip all my money like I did my first year.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. I've never heard of them saying, bring in your personal computer and we're going to go through your stuff.
It was insane. I'm getting bullied and other agents that I'm very close with are too.
Obviously, I'm friends with David Price and me and him talk. And
the best. He's the best.
How many agents would you guess left Senior, and are any of those people that you are aware of, are they getting paid or not paid?
I know that the leaders that busted their ass and chose to just better whatever they chose to do, like David chose to walk away from $2 million. He could have stayed there comfortably and kept his mouth shut. Like that to me in itself is a statement. And I'm so proud of him and whatever he's doing. And he will always be somebody so close to me. And he's my mentor in life. And he is a great, great guy. And I know that his name is getting run through the muck and people could believe what they want. But I also know that he'll give the shirt off his back to help any agent there is. There is some people that did get paid. And it's crazy because they're getting paid and they're also getting text messages. They're paying for the wrong motives. So they're getting paid, and then imagine if they're paying the people that I think they could get back.
So they're just trying to lure them back in, is why they're paying them.
Correct. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. I think that the people that are speaking up and stuff like that, I think that they just want to see us fail. I hope you could sleep at night. I hope you could lay your head down and sleep at night.
Does that money go to Ron or to Doug?
It goes to Doug. And Doug tried telling me that that's not the case. It goes to Doug. I've watched Doug divest many people, leaders, just because he wanted to divest them. So again, shame on me for thinking that it would be different because of our relationship. Like I was cool with him.
Even with Price walking away from $2 million, that takes a huge belief in yourself and guts. And that's awesome to see you guys crushing it. What was that transition going independent? Because literally you said you got shut off on like Friday. Did you have leads in your portal? And did you get those leads that you were charged for?
I had leads in my portal. And when the leads are in the portal, they're in the portal, but everything got shut off of mine. Let me tell you, I'm not over exaggerating. Thousands of dollars of unauthorized leads in a year time frame. Like a lot of money.
Whenever you mentioned it, it was just that, hey, we're helping Ron out. That was literally kind of the take. And we all have to, as a leader, you have to take these leads.
Oh my God, we were the worst leaders ever. Oh, you're so lazy. And you know what I wanted to tell them? I'm so lazy. I want to say, you haven't been on the phones in 13 years. Sit next to me. And I'm going to take live transfers. You dial out these leads. Let's see who writes more production. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Like it was, and that's the thing, Adam. It got to the point. It's every time we tried to like voice something or say something like, we got shut down and we got made that we were crazy and that Ron needed help. Ron needed assistance. Ron needed this. Ron needed, like, why just keep your mouth shut and have these agents work these leads? Talk to like that. Talk to like I was your like in a like nasty like that. No,
Yeah.
that's not it.
It's not the best way to run a business, in my opinion.
And he would, the man would sit in his office and be on Facebook and just scroll all day long, and then wanted to tell us that we were lazy. Because you got to remember, his business was built by us out there getting it and recruiting. Let's think about it. David Price, before he came along, let's talk about Doug Blake's numbers. And I don't care anymore. I'll be the first to say it. But then you treated that man like that. And he helped built the Blake Group. And then if we really want to get saucy, all those numbers over at Senior Life that you're seeing and posting, oh, we beat Lincoln, they're fake. It's not real. I'll be the first to say it. And I was grossed out by that. I'm like, dude, like, why do they care so much, like, about what Lincoln is doing? They're crushing it. Why can't we all just crush it together?
There's so much business and there's no reason to go about it in a nasty way. And unfortunately, Ron, he's consistently went after my agents. If I do a video with anybody, I can almost guarantee they're getting a phone call, they're getting an email, they're getting a text message from Ron Powell, right? If they're anybody writing anything. And I think it was Lewis Burns that he said, he goes, it's weird to see because it's almost more of an agency mentality, but yet you own the insurance company and you've literally built your company by poaching other agents instead of hiring and training and building up your own people. And it's, to me, I just don't agree with it. I guess would be the nicest way to say it.
Yeah, like I now I see so much stuff. And like in the beginning, I guess I was drinking the Kool-Aid, like whatever. And like now I just see so much stuff and it's just crazy. And this really taught me how big I want to get and also what type of leader I want to be. And it will never be I don't want anything to do with that. It's like dancing with the devil. Ron Powell is dancing with the devil. I'll say names, I don't care. How can you do this to single moms? I think about people like me that don't have that dog inside of them. This could really make somebody like go off the deep end.
Yeah. What gave you the strength to push through going through that? Because that's a lot of money to lose like immediately.
I'll be honest, it wasn't like the easiest thing, right? But also, I'm not going to let no man get in my way. I kneel before Christ and I'm going to be all right. And I'm going to take what I've learned in the last 2 years. And now I'm uniquely qualified to help any other agent, single mom, single parent, anybody else go through what I've been through and experienced. And my pain is my purpose. And just my numbers that I'm writing, my real numbers, I'll let them do the talking.
I love that. And so what was the hardest transition point coming from working with Senior and still being newer to the business and then going to the broker side? What was that transition like and what helped you transition?
At the end of the day, I think God, I'm a believer. So I think that how it happened, I had no other choice. What happened is that everything got shut off and I immediately just went back to that first year Lauryn life insurance agent and I just figured it out. I also do have a good following on social media and stuff like that. I just started posting my story a little bit and I kept quiet for a while. And that was killing me too. I'm like still trying to protect y'all because I didn't know. And I didn't know how I wanted to move with this, but it's time to break the silence because I did get bullied. It was unethical. I've never experienced anything like this in my whole entire life of like men degrading and talking down to me like they were when I helped them build their businesses and then they took all of mine.
Oh, that hurts. I'm sorry to hear that happen. That's terrible.
I don't even know. Like I just was in fight or flight and I'm figuring this out and I'm going to make this work.
I love it. What's kind of like your personal mission and how are you using this to fuel your growth? Because you said you're hitting personal records and really taking advantage of the new opportunity.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So basically what I'm doing is I took some time I didn't really have that much time, but I took time to refill my cup. I always tell everybody like this job is 10% skills, 90% personal development. I needed to get my mind right. And now I'm actually breaking PRs with me not even really writing that much business. I've been scaling, training, building, and my mindset has completely changed where I want to protect all newer agents and I want newer agents to come in and just demolish the game. And that's what I've been focusing on right now, and just using my pain as my purpose, and let's do it together. And if I could do it, you could do it. And let's get you going. Now it's so cool because I'm actually building a business that's mine and nobody can take it away from me. So I'm so motivated. I'm like, okay, this is dope.
And if someone's looking to come work with you or any other company, like what are maybe some things that you'd recommend from what you've learned, I guess?
Read the contracts. This is actually pretty funny. So I did a post recently on my social media. I don't know if you saw it, but I put the contract into ChatGPT. I love ChatGPT. Went through my old contract and like completely destroyed it. Like it was insane. It was so good. Read the contracts. And also the whole renewal thing. I think that people get into the insurance industry. Like I know once I found out about renewals and all that stuff, I'm like, this makes sense. This is why we do what we do. And just knowing that like you go somewhere that's going to happen. If you're non-captive, that you could do whatever you want. I want to talk about this. They would make you cancel events. Dave was trying to go to an event. Paid money, all these leaders were trying to go. They made him cancel and said they were going to shut off his pay if he went to this event. When you post on social media, like you can't brand just yourself or your business. Like you had to, like we were trapped. We were controlled. We were basically employees that were taught that we were entrepreneurs.
Why wouldn't they let him go to an event? I don't understand.
Because they didn't want him speaking at this one event.
Really?
He wasn't allowed to talk to certain people. It was crazy. If I post something on like social media, I have to say senior life insurance company, numbers. It was super controlled. Whereas like now, I think that it's so cool that you could build your personal brand and still work for somebody and all build their own brand together and just be like such a team that we're all eating. We're all thriving. We're all like getting it and great energy and just building something that is great. And that is going to make history, right?
There's so many good opportunities. There's also so many bad ones. So you got to be careful. Read the fine print.
Yeah, read the fine print.
So looking back, if you were going to do it differently, how would you do it differently, knowing what you know now?
Looking back, if I were to do it differently, I think I would have researched more, right? Like I would have probably tried to network more, research more. I would have listened to my gut a little bit more. I remember like once I started like writing big numbers and stuff like that, like I would talk, people would reach out to me on social media and yeah, they were probably trying to recruit me, but like I wasn't going anywhere. I was loyal to my mentors but like they would just be like talking about these renewals and stuff like that and trying to like let me know. And I just didn't listen. And then I was like, oh my God, like I think about those people sometimes. I'm like, wow, they were right. This really happened to me. I think that I would just read the contract, know exactly what I was doing, and make sure that everything that I was building was mine and not that it was something that would never get taken away from me.
If there's an agent that feels maybe like they're stuck or they're trapped, what advice would you give to them since you've been there?
Take the jump. Take the jump. I look at some of these people that have been over there for years and I'm like, what's going to happen when you want, and they're good people, when you want to leave?
What if you retire? What happens if you retire and they...
Thank you. What's going to happen? Your legacy is going bye-bye. What if you want to retire? Like all of that, like you have, it's crazy to me that people just want to be comfortable and they just want to make that money right now. But like, I look at the bigger picture. I want to be a millionaire and I want my kid to be a millionaire and I want my business to go to my kids' kids. And take the jump, find great mentorship. Don't quit. Don't, just because you're dealing in a bad place. 6 months ago, I was in my bedroom. I don't care. I'll admit it, on my floor crying, asking God to just provide because I'm too good at insurance to let any man take that away from me. And I'm so grateful. Like I don't quit. Take the jump. If you have a bad feeling, and sometimes like we got to listen to everything, the common denominator. Like I look back on stories and now I'm like, everything's like matching. I'm like, oh my God, like I should have listened. We see the common denominator. We feel stuck. Take the jump, find great mentors, get in the game. This industry is amazing and life-changing. And there is grimy people out there. And I guess any business, there's grimy people. We do better. be women and men of integrity and grace. And like when we move like that, we're always going to win in the end.
My dad's always told me since I was a kid, always do the right thing, even when no one's looking. He still tells me that to this day. And I'm a believer as well. I've been ups and downs in the industry and different things. And it's a phenomenal industry. Some of the people I've interviewed from senior life, I don't want to be negative, but I also just want to educate people on literally read your contract, right? Yep. There's no reason that it's, like you said, I've had good friends that have worked there, great people. And it's just, to me, the whole reason I personally got, or one of the biggest reasons I got into this was I lost everything in the mortgage industry. I went from making a ton of money to nothing overnight. And I was like, I got to find an industry to where I can build something so that the ultimate goal in the renewals, that residual income is why insurance is so great. And not having that, I think people just need to be really careful. Put their contract in ChatGPT.
Yeah. Exactly. No, you're so right. And I love what you do. And I love how you speak your truth. And like, at the end of the day, like people could listen, they cannot, but this is our truth. And I hope it helps people regardless.
100%. I know you're 100% over the phone.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that, and then we'll put all your contact info so anybody that wants to reach out directly to you can, and we make sure that we connect you guys, and hopefully you can continue your mission, helping people grow and empower people to do the right thing.
Let's go. Okay, perfect. So since I transitioned, it's all telesales, 100% telesales. We have a virtual call center. Like with me, I do have some non-negotiables, like being on the morning meetings, cameras on, being engaged, right? Like the little behaviors like that, I think it goes a long way. And we just are a vibe. Like we are a vibe. I'm big. I'm sure like people that do follow me, I'm like big with dancing, like life is too short to be miserable, and sales is a transfer of energy. So like when we bring the vibe, like people, like sometimes when I'm even on the phones, they're like, do you know that person? I'm like, no, like I just met them, because I'm like, hey, what's going on? And it's just like our energy is unmatched, right? So when we did go independent, and when I went independent, like there was a few things that I know that made me successful, and that I wanted to make sure any agent that I brought on would not be like in the same position as me, and then also what would make them successful. We definitely nailed a fire leads, right? Like we've got this lead campaign, it's fire, like the leads dialing out, but the leads also call you. The return on these are like insanely good. We also just have been demolishing the game. I think February was my best month ever, short month. My team finished at 184.
Let's go.
So that's pretty cool. Like 184,000, shooting each month to grow that, obviously. And it's just insane. So what I've been personally doing for newer agents, I'm like not even really on the phones anymore. Like I'm allowing them to buy leads, and I work individually with each one alongside of me. Right before this podcast, I had one of my agents, I'm in Florida. She lives by. She's, hey, can I come over? I'm like, let's go. She's coming over, and I'm working alongside of her. And just my goal is, as soon as you get on those phones, we are closing a policy that first week. Let them get that taste, and we're running with it. It's been pretty amazing. It's been sick.
What's the best way if someone wants to apply with you to learn more, to either get licensed or get contracted? What's your preferred method that they reach out to you?
So social media is great. Instagram, Facebook. I also have a Calendly link that I could get over to you. But honestly, I'm a big fan of social media. I think everybody should be. And yeah. And I also have a Calendly, and I have another link for my CRM, so we could link up.
We'll definitely share that. I really appreciate you, Lauryn. It was fantastic meeting you and hearing your story. I know it's probably going to inspire, hopefully, a lot of other people, especially all those single moms out there. Keep working hard. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and just phenomenal to see you crushing it. And also tell David I said hello as well.
I will, for sure.